Once upon a time, a poor but honest woodcutter and his wife lived a simple life. More than anything, they wished for a child. "Oh, how I wish we had a child," the wife would say, "even if he were no bigger than my thumb." As fate would have it, their wish came true. They had a son, a healthy and lively boy, but he was indeed no bigger than a thumb. So they named him Tom Thumb. Despite his tiny size, Tom was incredibly clever and spirited. He had a sharp mind and a big heart, always thinking of ways to help his loving parents. One morning, his father was preparing to go into the forest to chop wood. He let out a heavy sigh. "If only someone could bring the cart to me later, so I wouldn't have to walk all the way back. Can do it." "Father," chirped Tom, "just hitch the horse to the cart. I'll sit in the horse's ear and tell him where to go." His father chuckled at the idea, but, trusting his son, agreed to the plan. Later that day, Tom guided the horse and cart perfectly through the forest path. On the way, two strangers saw something astonishing. A horse pulling a cart with no driver in sight, yet moving as if guided by an expert hand. They followed, their curiosity piqued, until they spotted tiny Tom peeking out of the horse's ear, giving commands. "My goodness," one whispered to the other. "Imagine the fortune we could make showing off this little marvel." They approached the woodcutter and offered him a shiny piece of gold for Tom. The woodcutter immediately refused, horrified at the thought of selling his son. But quick-witted Tom whispered into his father's ear, "Take the gold. Father, don't you worry about me. I can always find a way to escape." Reluctantly, the woodcutter agreed, and the strangers carried Tom away in a coat pocket. When the men stopped to rest, Tom saw his chance. He skillfully slipped out of the pocket and scurried into a nearby mouse hole. The men were furious, trying everything to catch him, but Tom was too small and too fast. He had escaped. Now, Tom had to find his way home. The journey was long and full of dangers for someone so small. As night fell, he found shelter inside an empty snail shell. But the next morning, his tiny refuge was gobbled up by a cow grazing in the field. Finding himself in the cow's dark stomach, Tom started shouting, "No more grass, I'm full in here." The cow's owner, who happened to be his own father, heard the voice. Thinking his cow was possessed, he sadly decided he had to butcher it. As the cow was cut open, Tom managed to scramble out, but his freedom was short-lived. A hungry wolf, lurking nearby, swallowed him in a single gulp. Trapped once again, this time in the wolf's belly, Tom didn't panic. He used his wits. "Oh dear wolf," he called out, "I know where you can find the most wonderful feast. Just follow my voice and I'll lead you to a house with a pantry full of sausages and cakes." The greedy wolf couldn't resist. He followed Tom's directions right to the woodcutter's home. Inside, Tom's parents heard their son's voice coming from the wolf. They sprang into action. They locked the doors and began to beat the wolf with brooms and pans, making a terrific noise. Terrified, the wolf squeezed back out a window and tried to run, but he'd eaten so much he was slow and clumsy. The woodcutter and his wife chased him down, and when they finally caught him, they carefully cut open his belly. Out popped Tom, safe and sound. His parents were overjoyed, hugging their clever little boy. From that day on, they never let him travel with strangers again. Tom stayed home, using his sharp mind to help his parents in countless small ways. They lived happily ever after, their lives filled with love and the endless resourcefulness of their tiny, wonderful son, Tom Thumb.